Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Beauty on a Budget. My name is Heather, and this afternoon I'm going to actually do my pantry. It's been a while since I've done it, but this time I'm going through and really just going to streamline it and just figure out what we have that we use and that's in here that we don't use. Any food that we're not going to eat. I think I'll just see if my other kids want it, or I might just put an ad on Kijiji and just donate the food. I don't want to move a lot of this stuff if I know we're not going to eat it. So with that being said, I'm just going to start pulling everything out shelf by shelf, how I normally do it. There's not a lot on the top shelf that I can do. That's a lot of my extra items and all my oils and vinegars and glass jars. This next shelf here is all my baking supplies. So that one I'm not gonna really, there's a few things sitting on top of the jars, but I'm not gonna pull everything out. Same with up there. I'm just gonna deal with the baking box, cereals, and some of the extra I see bags that I just kind of throw up there, like croutons or chocolate chips, things like that, that do have a spot down here, but when they're in my way, I just chuck them up there so I can see what's here. So I think I'm going to start with the bottom shelf, like the stuff on the floor, and then the one shelf up. So this is where I'm going to concentrate today. I realize you guys can't even see what I'm doing. Okay, I have my camera here. So it's the stuff on the floor and this first shelf. This is the stuff that gets used all the time. It's the stuff that's in the bigger things like the potatoes, the flour, sugar, rice, the boxes of cases of food, boxes of food. So like the larger stuff, it's down here. So I'm just gonna bring everything out, and then I will be back to show you what I found in the first, I guess 2 shelves kind of. So I've got everything from the first bit of stuff pulled out, all here on my island. I was actually quite surprised how much stuff you can fit in a little corner. I even found like a completely empty box. This is all my gravy mixes, and it's these packages that are sitting up here on the top were just loose everywhere. I've got this little basket here, and as you can tell, it's just full of so much, things that are just, onions are gonna make the Jell-O taste funny, so I'm gonna have to move all that. I've got 2 brand new packs of these popcorn. This one here is from Superstore, and this box here is from Walmart. So I'll have to figure out what to do with them. So I think you get 24 in one and like, is it 28? Yeah. Or no, they're both 24. Okay. So I've got, almost 50 packs of popcorn. I don't eat that stuff. My husband, I don't think he really likes it either. I'll see with my daughter what she wants to do. These stuff like this, I know my other kids would love, and so I'll probably just end up dividing this between my other kids. Same when I get to my teas and my coffees, because I've got a lot of tea I don't like, or some coffee I don't like. I will just go through and give to my other kids. We've got all these taco shells here, so we'll have to make tacos one day. You get 10 in a box, so we usually go through like easily one night supper, 2 boxes. Taco shells. Oh, these are all my cake mixes that I've got. I will be making. Want to do a box of crackers. I found boxes of cereal down here. Cereal is supposed to be up on the top shelf, but as you can see, there's no room on the top shelf for the cereal, so the cereal just kind of got put on the bottom shelf. Now I'm just going to sweep this out so I'm not stepping and tracking this stuff around, and now I'm going to start clearing off this second shelf. Now with this shelf, I love these little can organizers. I know some people, you love something or you don't like it. I love these. They really keep my pantry more organized. I can see my soups. Now, with that being said, some of the larger cans don't fit on there, or I can put them on the bottom. They kind of hang over a bit. But because we are going to be moving and stuff, I am going to actually take them apart today and just have all my cans just sitting on the shelf. I know it's not going to be the way I like to organize, but just kind of help me know exactly how many cans of soup I have, what kind of soup I have, because I don't really have a lot of beans anymore. I'm not buying my beans in the cans. I'm actually buying the dried beans and lentils in the bags. They do take a little longer to cook, but that's okay. I'm just trying to get some of this extra stuff that we don't need out of the house. So I'm going to just now work on this shelf, and then I'll be back. All right, I now have that shelf cleared off. And so here's all the canned items that I had on that shelf. I know it doesn't look like a lot. In fact, I will say that those things I use for my cans, I had 6 of them in the cupboard. They do take up a lot more room this way, but I just found it just organized it better. It gave me like each of the 4 main soups each had their own thing to sit on, so I knew it was a case of each of the 4 soups. Plus I had a case of beans, a case of cream corn, and then I have a few others of these that I have downstairs. And so I could just look in the cupboard and I would know exactly what cases I needed to buy, or just single cans to top up what I had in the pantry, especially having 4 kids who are always making themselves food. So now I'm just gonna put these cans back in the pantry without using those can holders, because each one of those will only hold about 13 cans. So there we go. I've got the shelf wiped out already as well. So I'm just gonna put these items back in here as to where they go. Like, so I have oats, skim milk powder, another skim milk powder, another thing of oats, potatoes, whole wheat flour, all-purpose flour, a bag of sugar, and back there's another big bag of rice. So those are the items I'm going to start with by putting them on the bottom down here first. I usually had the flour and sugar in this small corner, but I think with the amount of food that I'm not putting back in the pantry, I'm just going to start putting everything just in this part over here. So as I get this stuff put away, I will be back. Actually, I realized that before I can put those away, I have to clear off partial of this next shelf, only because some of these containers are empty and I have to get to them and top them up. Like, that's my whole wheat flour is empty, all purpose is half, the rice is less than half, this oatmeal is empty, and this one is full, and then I don't know what the ones behind there are. So I'm gonna have to clear off this shelf. This shelf is pretty easy to clear off. It's just these 3 baskets and this hanging basket I don't have to move. So I'm just gonna be taking out this bucket, or this basket with the chocolate chips in it, and then all my containers so I can top them up. And then same with when I do this shelf, I will be topping up any of these containers that need to be topped up before I put everything back in. That way I'm cleaning, organizing, topping up, and just getting rid of other larger containers that just don't want to move. So I just kind of want to get this kind of done. Also, I can go through each of these that are labeled and see if they're empty, if I'm ever going to use that again. If I'm not going to buy those product again, then I will be taking those containers out and washing them and packing them away. And so hopefully a lot of these containers, these glass jars, will not be back in my pantry today, because I'm just trying to really start clearing out my house. So I'll be back when I'm ready to do the next stuff. So these are my jars. This one is diatomaceous earth. That one is fine. My 1-to-1 flour, I don't have any more of it left, but I will have to get some pretty soon. Same with my self-rising flour. The container is about half. I don't have any of that today, so those ones I can't top up. I've got this other oatmeal one here, and it's full, but it's these ones here that I definitely have to top up. So I've got my white rice, it's about half full. This oatmeal is about half full. The all-purpose flour is about half full, and my whole wheat flour is completely empty. So I'm just going to top those up, because I said that was just this shelf here. So those containers just sit along here, and then I had these ones, and I just took these out, and I've just kind of fixed my pasta, because I had a couple bags that were open. I just wanted to see, one is fettuccine and one is spaghetti. I thought maybe if they were the same I could put them in the same bag, but they're not. They're two different pastas. And then this is just my dried beans and lentils. So I didn't really do too much to these ones. I just kind of pulled them out, straightened them up in the baskets a little bit, just pulled everything more straight. This one, everything was kind of sitting crooked and sitting up a rail above the basket. So now I know what I've got for pasta and beans to use up. So now I'm just going to top those other containers up, put them in here, and then get the stuff on these other two shelves put away. So I think most of this stuff will be on these couple shelves. And then I said, then I can get to the next two shelves. And of course, every time I took out this stuff off the shelf, I am wiping the shelves down. So I am spraying it with my Agent Orange, was it Oxy Orange, that's what it's called, from the dollar store. So I was using that, spraying it, and just wiping everything down. So everything here has been clean and before I put food back in. So I'll be back when I get everything on these shelves put away, and I will start doing the next two. So I've got almost everything back in here on these three shelves. So not a lot left on my island to finish putting away. Very little on the other counter. I've got a couple items, but they go up on the higher shelf. They were just kind of, like I said, in the wrong spot. So I've got all these type of condiment things to go through and figure out where they're gonna sit. So I realized I don't have a space. I didn't keep a space for the glass jars. I always have them on the floor. I'll probably just move the potatoes over and just put the glass jars where the potatoes are sitting. I always found that I don't have another little basket. Otherwise I could put them up, but I find glass jars just work best if they're just on the floor. I bump things, I knock things over all the time. So we've got all the flour and sugar. I did put it here. They just fit better, the flour and the sugar. It's such a tiny space between the wall and this side here of the pantry wall, because it just gives me a perfect space to put the flour and sugar. That way they can stack up on top of each other and be a little more secure. And then the rice, I topped up my rice, and then in the bag, that's all there is. So I just cut the bag down to that, and I just stuck it in here with on top of the pasta, just so I can see it. And I'll be telling everybody to use this up before they touch this, but that means I will need another thing of rice. And then I realized I've got another whole big bag of unopened basmati rice down there, plus I've got other rices in these jars. So running out to buy a bag of rice right before we move, I can wait on that. Same with my flour. I topped up my whole wheat and all-purpose flour. Both those bags are excuse me, about half empty now, so I will need some more flour soon, but I don't have to go and grab it before I move. Sorry, just doing the flour, just it's like dust sometimes. But I definitely will need more sugar. I thought I had another whole brand new bag, which I didn't buy any, and then I realized that is the brand new bag of sugar. So I definitely have to go get some more sugar pretty soon. So that is those ones done. So now I'm just going to take everything off of the next shelf. Actually, I guess I'll do the next two shelves together, just because a lot of the stuff are in these baskets. And I think there's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 baskets on here, and about 4 baskets up there. And once I take the stuff, the baskets down, it just clears off the shelf so much faster. So I'm just gonna do the next 2 shelves together, and I'll be back when I get everything taken out. Right, I have the last 2 shelves emptied. So everything is now here on my island. This is the last of stuff that I gotta finish organizing and going through. So I've got some of these jars are empty, and I don't think I'm going to be refilling them, so I'll be deciding what I'm keeping and getting rid of. So I'm going to do the jars last. So first I'm going to start with all these boxes of cereal and cake mixes and figure out how many we actually have, if any have expired, or if I know my daughter does not like them. Like, I think there was a couple that were from when my son was still living here. So I'm going to, like I said, I wasn't going to put the cereal back in the pantry, but I think I will just for right now. Just put all the cereal and cake mix boxes up in the top corner up here where I usually have them. And then just so I can get them out of my way and more counter space so I can really go through the jars, which is what I really need to know, is what I have for all these different condiments, what's in the fridge, what's here. Now that I know I've got no condiments in the brown fridge, and whatever I have in the regular fridge is all there is. So I have to go through and see what I don't have here, and kind of, I'm not going to be buying any more food. I mean, that's the thing, is we're trying to use up what we have, but I can go through any of the condiments that are in the fridge and go through them fast, knowing if I have any here. I've got these glass jars. I don't want to move glass jars. I did buy a whole bunch of pork this morning, so I'm going to be making a lot of pork dishes. So I've got these different curries, which are usually more for chicken and beef, but I think they'll be okay with the pork. I don't know. I'll look into that. But if there's anything like that I can just start really using up fast, if I find like a lot of these jars, if they're empty or almost empty, and if they're different types of rice and there's almost nothing left, I'm just going to start mixing all my rice into one container and just have a wild brown rice mix. And I already do buy it already mixed. This is my wild and brown rice that I do buy from the bulk barn. But I think I have some other jars here which are just other types of rice. And I just want to cut all this stuff down, knowing what we use and what we don't use. So I'll be back when I get all the cereal and cake mixes back up, and I've got all these jars kind of separated. Like, see, like this little thing here. This is wild and brown rice. It's just sitting here loose on its own. I have this little thing here, and I don't know where the instructions went, but it is a rice and spice mix. All you had to do was add water or your stock and your chicken. I think it was, yeah, it was chicken. And you'd get this wild rice or forbidden rice chicken dinner. So I don't know where the instructions are, but I still have these. So these I will definitely want to use up just to get them out of my way. And I got a whole bunch of these little cute little jars, which, you know, I said like pecans. Pecans were expensive. Buying this amount was good. I'm just going to start, you know, washing those jars and getting them put away. So I'll be back in just a few moments. All right, so before I go any further in the pantry, I have to do the jars. So I'm going to start with the ones that go up at the very top shelf. So that would be this one here. I'll just move the camera over, easier than trying to move this whole thing of jars. Okay, leave it here. Oops. So this one here has oils and vinegars in it. So I'm just gonna take everything out. I'm going to set it over here, and I'm just going to put everything in here because I have another one that's got some vinegars in it. And I did take these down with them full, and I don't want to put them back up being full because that was just not a good choice. Oops, don't want to drop this. So I can figure out what I have for vinegars and stuff here. This basket I know goes right here. Oops. So I got this apple cider vinegar. It's almost empty. I'm not going to put this one back up in the cupboard. I'm going to set that one aside because that will be gone in just a few days, knowing that I have a brand new bottle of it already. So that can go up. I've got these bottles. Well, they're the same. They're both Orange Blossom. I've got this one here. It's coconut vinegar. This is my red wine vinegar. This is sunflower oil for cooking. This is white wine vinegar, and it's not been opened. So I do have to keep track when I do my oil and jars, oils and vinegars. When I'm doing these in the two baskets, I'll have one that's got the opened and then one that has unopened. I know there's some more stuff over in this other one. Gotta move a few things so I can reach it. I've got this can of this avocado oil. I have another one of the same sunflower oils. These I got at Save-On, and they were clearing them out really super cheap. Like, I don't remember how much. Oh, this is another, oh, this is safflower oil. So that's why I said, like, when you go and you get stuff like on sale, it's a good time to pick up stuff that, you know, you don't normally use. Or like, I do love different oils and vinegars, but I can't always afford every single version or kind of them. So when you find them on sale, it's a great time to go and pick up. Oops. Let's see. That's the wrong basket. I moved things from one basket to the other basket, but I need this taller basket for these oils. Just gonna clear this out. So I've got the two baskets for my oils. So I've got these ones, and then I've got my rice vinegar. And this is another rice vinegar. So like I said, that's what I'm going to go through and have open and unopened. Which I guess at the moment, I actually do have room for this one. I thought I didn't have another bottle of this in the pantry, but I do. So I can put this with the opened, and that's unopened. These ones here I just bought recently, so they are unopened. And I've got, this is a balsamic vinegar, it's unopened. This one here is my extra virgin olive oil. This one, I love this brand. I usually get it from Walmart or Superstore. And then I have another unopened red wine vinegar. Am I out of my white vinegar? I guess I am. And oh, I do have soy sauce. Okay, so that is not a vinegar. I don't know if I have any soy sauce in the fridge, but the soy sauce I'll leave out just in case I had another one over with the condiments. So I'm just gonna go through. So these oils are not open. Okay, this one is open. I'm just looking, trying to figure this out. Okay, so I don't have another unopened white wine vinegar, so I can put one in this. This is how I also organize, is having these different baskets with unopened and opened and rotating them from the one to the other. I know what I have. It's like moving things from between the two fridges, or going from the pantry into the fridge. You've got an open one in the fridge, and then I like to have an unopened in the pantry. So if I run out of the one in the fridge, I should have one in the pantry. And then that's how you end up with duplicates, because you don't clear out your pantry. Okay, so now I'm just gonna put my vinegars and oils up, and then I will get to the next basket, only because these are these glass jars, and I know myself, I am going to crash them and break something. So I will be back in just a moment. All right, so my next two baskets are the condiments. So what I did was I just had some boxes of crackers and a few other large items, and I just set them on the shelf in the pantry just to clear up a little bit of room. I also put the pasta sauce and the other what was it? Plum sauce and stuff, the glass jars in the pantry, just so they're out of my way. So I said, My next one now will be the condiments. So, and nuts, or not nuts, the fruit. So I've got this jar and it says it's dried cranberries. It's almost empty. Now this is where I get into the point where, like I said, this jar says raisins. This jar says raisins. And this one also says raisins. And then I've got blueberries. And I have some pitted prunes. And I think this is all I have left for my berries. And so I know what we eat or don't eat for these berries. I'm going to move them into one container. I've got this large one here, and it says it was gluten-free pasta, and I was buying myself this other pasta, but I have found what I can eat now. And I'm not going to, like I said, the last thing in here was just gluten-free pasta. So I'm just going to take all these fruits, if I can get them out of here. They are dried and just everything. See if they will all fit in this one jar without breaking anything. Like I said, I don't do a lot with prunes, but I do stick prunes in when I'm making a lot of nuts and berries. I find like they can kind of too many nuts and too many berries kind of can bind you. A few pitted prunes when you're making some of your granola stuff actually can help with that problem. So I'm just seeing how many of these jars I can just empty and kind of get rid of. I'm going to need something to dump those ones out. These are dried fruit, and I don't mind if they're really super dried, but I know that I'm not going to be picking and making granola bars and things like I was. So I don't need to have all these jars labeled with all these different individual fruits. Those ones are really dried, but that's okay. They re-moisten really easy when you bake with them. Grab something, I can get those ones out. There's also what I want to do is just kind of clear out my pantry and just kind of get rid of all these extra jars. So this was an empty jar. So I took one large empty jar. And by doing that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I got 6 empty jars, and I'll be back in just a moment. Okay. Sorry about that. So I said this was an empty jar that was in the pantry, and I was able to empty out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other jars. So I'm just going to set these 6 jars over on the other side, because I can still end up, I'll probably, I can't even lift all these in one hand. I'll probably end up needing these as I condense things down anyways. And I know you should be washing out the containers, but I know that this was just pasta in it, and it was washed out when I last used it. I do wash them out, and before I put the empty containers back in the pantry, usually. Now this was my pasta pan, or for my pasta, so that I do know I did, because just this one specific type of pasta that I bought from the bulk barn. This is gonna bug me. I'm one of those people who, when you peel off a label and it doesn't come off, I now want to stop and just peel it off completely. But okay, so now this is just a mixed fruit. I'm gonna have to label that, but I can tell, and I probably just label it raisins, and I'm mostly correct because it is mostly raisins. And then let's see, what else do I have here? This jar here is popcorn. And I have this other jar, and it was labeled oatmeal and popcorn and popcorn. So I'm going to say, at this moment, I don't know if I have a jar where I can put all this popcorn into one jar. So I'm just gonna set those aside and hopefully I can. The next jar I have is this one here, and there is little bags of stuff on top. So little bags of things. And then I've got this chocolate chip oatmeal mix, and I'm going to throw this oatmeal mix out. I am not one who does that a lot, but I do know that this oatmeal mix was bought from Target, and Target's been gone nearly 10 years, so this can definitely get thrown out. I don't know, I think it was just down here, and then these other little things, these are recent ones, got put on top, and then you know, you don't realize but you've got some old food down there. I also know that this jar, well, I know these are new, this jar was also down in my pantry for my day home, and it was just up in the top shelf in the far back, so occasionally that happens. Oh, I do have another jar that's empty, so that's good. And I got another jar that's empty, so I am finding, you know, empty jars. So just move those bags out of the way. I'm just going to put these ones over in the sink, all these empty jars, just putting them over by the sink so I can start getting them washed and ready for new stuff to get put in. Okay, so this one is chia seeds, and this one is golden flax, and this one is brown flax. So these I know I don't have bags or containers for. These were something new. These are these new superfoods that I wanted to try, that I just kind of learned about in the last couple of years. So one of my last trips to the bulk barn, I just purchased these. Set those aside. This is all this other stuff. Onions. Onions are gonna bug me. I'm just gonna put them in the pantry. Otherwise, I'm just gonna keep moving them out of my way. Okay. I know these were the, those ones are empty for now. Okay, I've got the next jar. Oh, this one, plain breadcrumbs. It's empty. That I'm not gonna be reusing. This one just says pasta. Again, this was pasta I found from the bulk barn that I was able to eat. As much as I like it, I'm probably not going to buy it right now. This one here has my bouillon cubes in it, and it is quite full. So that is fine. I'll just set that one there. This one is my chicken gravy mix, so this is good. This is my yellow split peas, which was good. This one is not labeled, but this is the Aztec blend of beans and lentils and rice. So this is really good. Okay, I'm just gonna do this and get those onion things out of there. So those ones are fine. Grab the next basket. Again, like I said, I already found this. It's just this wild and brown rice. I'll just set that there for now. Oh, this said it was white chocolate chips. It is empty. That I'm not going to be refilling. This is just a soup mix, and I've got the instructions up there. I think the bag split when I made one batch, and then my bag split. And I said same with this one here. I usually keep my lentils in their bags in the pantry with just the bag clips, unless the bag rips, and then I have to do something. So that's why those are in there. This says it's black rice, but this is not black rice. It is white. So this is jasmine rice. This one says long brown rice. It is now empty, so this can go. This is my dried orange peel. Again, this says wild and brown rice, so that one is fine. And this is my hemp granola, so that one is good. And I've got this one kind of empty. I'm just going to move these jars out of my way. I'm going through these pretty fast. Okay, I'm just going to move over this way. Next one here, this is cinnamon sugar, but I have a few cinnamon sticks in it, so that's okay. This is quinoa flour. I'm going to say I didn't really like it. I did try it. I didn't like it. That's okay. I can still cook with it. Or I'll see if my daughter wants it, because I think she's one of the reasons why we end up with some stuff that we tried and didn't like. This is my lavender flour. I love this when I make my shortbread cookies or white chocolate. This one says cornmeal. I've been out of cornmeal for quite a while, so this jar is empty. This is cocoa powder, and it's about half full. This one, does it have a label? It says wild flower, and the label just says it was an Indian style basmati rice and sprouted beans. So it was something I bought from Bulk Barn to try. Obviously, I don't know, we didn't buy it, so either I didn't like the price, or we just didn't like it, or we found other stuff that we really liked, or they stopped carrying it, that too. Okay, next basket. See, I'm getting through these and I'm gonna end up with like empty spaces in my pantry. I've got my raw sugar. I couldn't find this the other day. That was okay. Now I've got, this is gelatin, and I love it in my Winnie the Pooh container. And this is my homemade coconut coffee whitener, which I do make quite a bit. And this is more cocoa powder, but there is a difference between the two. Yes, they're both labeled cocoa powder, but I buy mine at the Bulk Barn in bulk. And so actually, probably the only way you can tell the difference is if I were to take the lids off. So this is the standard cocoa powder. And then I have this one, and this one is called red cocoa powder. Actually, I'll do this. I'd rather do it this way. So you see like the color, and then it's a lot darker. And then this one is a lot lighter and fluffier. So I don't know, it's just two different types of cocoa that I was able to find at the Bulk Barn. They cost about, I think it's pretty close to the same price, but there is a difference. So I've bought both of them. I like them both. And this one, this jar is empty. It said slivered almonds. I no longer buy my almonds in the Bulk Barn now that I found them at the dollar store. This one is coconut, not a lot left, but I do have a bag of coconut, or I should, over on the other pantry. This one is carob chocolate chips. Now I don't have any at this moment, but I guess I can just put this jar and clean this up. I'm probably not going to be buying any carob chips at the moment. And this one says chocolate chips. So again, I've got all those bags of chocolate chips in my pantry. I only buy the carob for my dog so I can make her treats. This is my icing sugar. It needs to be refilled, and I know I've got the bag because I just bought a brand new bag the other day. And this is cornstarch, and it's full, so that one is fine. And I said I've got a couple of these baskets. They handles kind of split on me. That's okay. There's no cracks on the sides or on the bottom. It's just the top here. Put those back in that. And then I've got, this is the one I use all the time for real baking. So I've got my baking powder. This is meringue powder. I'm almost out. This is my sesame seeds, which I can say I haven't bought in a long time. I hardly use any. When I make buns, which I don't make that often, just sprinkle a couple on top of each bun. My baking powder, skim milk powder, my brown sugar, which is not labeled, but you can tell it's brown sugar, and my white sugar, which I did fill up this morning, or earlier today when I first started doing this. I don't have any brown sugar at the moment, unless I have a bag kind of stuck over on the other counter, but I haven't come across it. So I'm going to put this one here, because I said this is the one that is all the important baking ingredients in. So that's the 5 that I always keep in this basket. I'm just wondering if there's room for the cornstarch to slip into this one now. Oh, yes, there is. So I can get those 6 in this. I'm going to move this. That's not going to fit. Okay, it's not going to fit that way. Okay. I'll just leave it like this. I'll just put this one back in the pantry where it goes. And then just figure out putting these jars, putting them back in the baskets on the shelf, and then I'll be back when I get that done. Actually, I have this larger jar, so I'm going to condense the popcorn from these 2. Now, this is the Tupperware one, has this extra little piece. From these 2 containers into the one. I think it should fit. I'm hoping, although that jar is just deceiving how much it fit. I don't know if this rest of this jar, this one can fit in here. We will see. This is just popcorn. Let's see how much can go in here. Can I get it all in? Oh, almost. Shoot. Okay, I have this tiny little jar. I had another one of these tiny jars that was a little bit cleaner. Well, this was just slivered almonds, just so I can get there. Get these bigger jars kind of out of the way. I'm just gonna move a little more of this popcorn into here, there, just so I can get the lid on a little bit easier. There we go. There. Okay. Now I can get all these washed. And I don't think there's any other jars that I can condense. I think I've done it all. Although as I'm looking and moving things around, I'm going to check. Actually, I had these rice ones. I have this little bag of this wild and brown rice, and I got this right here, and it said it was wild and brown rice. I don't like this one. This one here is really, it gets old, and then they don't want to open properly. I'm just scared I'm going to pinch my fingers doing it. So some of these containers I will be getting rid of and getting new containers. But no point in doing that before we move. I might as well wait till after we move. There we go. Got that one dumped in. I know I spilt some rice everywhere. That's okay. There. Not one is full, and I got rid of some of this extra more packaging. Just the other thing I'm trying to do is just condense everything in the pantry. So I'll be back when I get these jars all in the pantry. Alright, so I got all those jars put away. I have 3 empty baskets and 18 jars on the counter I've got to wash and get rid of or clean up. So I have condensed my pantry, and I'm really surprised at that. Now I still might end up using these up on, some of these are from the top shelf anyways, but there's a stack of 3 of them sitting here that I don't need yet. So I'm just going to, got my dustpan on the floor over there. I'm just trying to throw the little bits of things towards the dustpan. Okay, these go with those other baskets of stuff like my spices and other smaller things. So I'm just going to set those aside for right now. Oops, I forgot to put this one in. And I could put it in a smaller container, but there's not a lot left. There's enough probably for, you know, a couple more of these little chocolate whey protein shake mix. So, and that's the instructions for it, because I knew the instructions, but my son didn't, so I wrote out the recipe for him. So I'm just going to set this in the pantry. because I forgot to put that one in the pantry. So now I've got condiments. So I'm going to start with the basic condiments. I'm going to set these other baking things aside. Those are other baking things. That's a pack of spice. That's the star anise. Crisco shortening. I'm going to put this in the fridge. I found it way at the top and the back. So if I just stick it in the fridge, I will actually remember to cook with it. Again, I've got some more garbage here. Just throwing it towards the garbage dust can. Okay. I'm just trying to find these. Find all the common things. This was another soy sauce. So I've got 2 unopened things of soy sauce. So those I'll be putting in the cupboard. I've got some more of this marinade. Got some more of this stuff. More of this barbecue stuff. None of these have been opened. This one looks like it was opened. Why? Nope, it hasn't been opened. It just looks open, or it just feels lighter compared to this other one maybe. Some of this is other baking product stuff. I do have vanilla. When I was cooking and I couldn't find my vanilla, I found it. The reason I didn't see it, it was upside down and there was stuff sitting on top of it. So when I was doing some baking, I couldn't find it. Oh, got another little jar back here. This is white chocolate squares, and I'm going to say I don't remember the last time I bought these white chocolate. I'm not even going to open it. I'm just going to set this aside and get rid of it later. Okay, so I've got 2 things. This is what I found. I have no relish in my fridge, but I've got 2 here in my pantry. So this is where dates always come in handy. So this one says it's good till April of 2025. This one says December of 2023. So I'm going to put this one in my fridge. It will be fine. And then this one can go back in the pantry. These go in the pantry. They're fine. Now I've got jars of mayonnaise. I bought a jar of mayonnaise the other day because I didn't think we had any. And now I knew we had a little bit in the fridge. I didn't think we had any in the pantry. Look what we've got in the pantry. So this is where I'm going to double check dates. February 2024, April 2024, January 2024, and this one says May 2023. I'll put that one in the fridge, but I do have one in the fridge. I'm just going to check and see. This one says August. I am so careful when it comes to food and dates and stuff, but it does happen. I try to rotate and always check the dates. So obviously this one got put in the fridge instead of this one. But that's okay. We go through a lot of mayonnaise. So we've got mayonnaise and relish in the pantry. So now when I put these in the fridge, now when I put these in the pantry, I will make sure to put them in the order they need to get used up. So I'm going to grab this one here. I'll move it into the pantry in a second. So this is January, February, and April. Now they're already lined up. The only thing is if somebody were to grab one and not even pay attention to the dates, but I'm really careful on that. I talk to my kids about the importance of that, you know, first in, first out rule. I've worked in fast food, I've worked in an industrial kitchen, so I mean, I know this, but you know, it still happens. And I will say, for my house, you know, just for our usage, it's not the biggest deal. Like same with these 2 things of soy sauce. Let's see, just checking the dates. This one has a 2025, and this one's also 2025. This one says February, this one says July. So the one that's February, I'll be putting in the front. My kids usually know that this is how I put the food in the pantry anyways. So my kids usually do that, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes they just want to, like, they're like, I like this brand better than this brand, but it really doesn't matter. There's certain things that we go through a lot of. What was it? Sweet chili sauce for chicken, so that's good. Don't have any in the fridge, but I don't need it right now. I've got a lot of other stuff that I've got to use up first. For all these other marinades and sauces. And I've got the salad dressings. So again, same thing. I'm always just checking 24, 24, and 24. So December and then 2 July. So just kind of put them like that. We got plum sauce. There's none in the fridge, but that's okay. I don't think we need any at the moment. This is just black pepper. Stick that here. New thing of syrup. We've got a good one in there. Oh, there's no jam in the fridge, so I'll put this one in. I'll have to move a few things around because it's not organized. Now there's a new thing of pickles, so that we'll be putting in the fridge fairly soon. I've got my honey here and it crystallized. So my honey usually goes in this other cupboard with my teas. So I'm just gonna stick it in. It will fit. Not going to. Okay, I'll just lay it down and then I can deal with that honey another day. That just means before I use the honey, I just have to soak it in some hot water or warm water just to loosen it. There we got some. All right, so my phone is telling me that my battery is low, but I found, you know, some pepper and citric acid, so I'll just be setting those in here. I think I'll leave the pepper out, just because I don't know if we have any pepper opened. I don't see any other pepper. Sun-dried tomatoes, I'm just gonna set them in here. Got a couple more jars of the maraschino cherries. I'm just going to put them in here. I've got some coconut oil. I'll just stick that there. And then I think over. Got one more of these baskets. Like I said, I've got the baskets are actually in the pantry, but if I just kind of get everything laid out as to where it's going to go, it makes it so much faster to put in the cupboard. So I've got this. This is white Himalayan salt with red peppercorns. I bought this at Winners or Marshalls. When does it? I don't even know. I'd have to read all this tiny fine print. It's fine. It's just salt and pepper. This is the vanilla extract, which I'm going to stick it up in this cupboard with all the other. I just dropped the happy birthday candles, and one of them landed in my cup of coffee. Well, I'm just going to set this here, and I will do with that in a little bit. So brand new thing of corn syrup, the open corn syrup. I've got a couple bottles of these. Oh, go through them so much, especially, well, I do. I love it with my ginger ale. These are the cordial lime, or lime cordial, I guess. And then they have the other one. I can't remember what the red one is. But you kind of like a Shirley Temple kind of a drink. A couple packs of dates, which I love to cook with, or I bake those squares that are even on here. I don't know what they're called. You got like your, it's like an oatmeal crust, and then your fruit filling, and then more of the oatmeal, or the oatmeal crust. I've got another thing of strawberry syrup. I've got a whole jar of the lime juice. So I'm just gonna stick this one back in here just so I don't have to deal with it. I also have some activated charcoal, which I use for when I make my toothpaste. And it for here. Oh, I've got my cooking spray, so I'll be putting those up. One jar of pickles. I also have hazelnut spread, which the label came off. This one is brand new, hasn't been opened. And I have one brand new thing of my quick rise instant yeast. Okay, so it really doesn't want to record anymore. So I'm just going to put these things away. Let my phone charge for a little bit while I finish putting the stuff away. And then when I get back, I will be dealing with the stuff on, let me move this stuff out of the way. Over by my sink, I've got that whole counter is full of a few other bins that I gotta go through. So I'll be back right away. Okay, I hope my phone doesn't cut out. I did charge it, so I've got about 80-something% power. So this is all that I have left to finish going through and organize, and then my pantry will be done. I've got most of my jars actually soaking in the sink. There's just a few that didn't quite fit. I've got peanut butter I forgot and breadcrumbs that I forgot to put in my pantry, as well as I've got, this is our iced tea and this one's open, and we have 2 hot chocolates that are opened. So this one is almost full and this one is almost empty. So I'm going to be dumping, you know, the Tims into this one and then just having one thing of hot chocolate, and that will be, you know, dealt with. My cooking spray I forgot to put up in the pantry. I have these. I've got a couple packs of the pasta and I've got a couple packs of the rice, which I just had. These I bought from the dollar store and they have to get used right away. They have like a November and December dates on them. So here's the rice. So these ones, they're ready to eat. You heat them in the bag. I prefer to pour them into a dish. I don't know, something about this plastic in the microwave, I don't like it. But yeah, that's got a November. Oh, it's November. Oh, it's May 24. What, did I read it wrong? 24. Oh, that's 23, and that one's 23. No, it's the 2 pastas that have to get eaten. The rice are still good for another year, but I'm still gonna, because they were bought at the same time, so I'm gonna cook them this week. So those I don't have to worry about. This is my sweet flour, which I use for making cornbread. This is my diatomaceous earth, which I will get more detail into it in a later video. This is more cereal. Obviously not one I picked out because it is dark chocolate and red berries, so that means strawberries and raspberries. So never been opened. So I'll put that one up. 1 box of mac and cheese that just seemed today just kind of gets moved around. Now it is these. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes of the hazelnut and 1 of the French vanilla. These International Delights little mini creamers. Oh, that one is hazelnut. Oh, that's funny. Oh, French vanilla and hazelnut. So the French vanilla were from the dollar store, and then we were at another store and they were clearing these out under $2 a box. So I bought, or my husband bought me a whole bunch of them. So I will be putting these in the pantry. Because I do actually, over by my coffee, I do have a bunch of those in a little dish. This is my thing of spices, which I will be going through. These things were always in there. When I top up my spice racks, which I will be doing later this week, because I've got to go through, because I'm not moving with all these open spices. Pre-made the graham pie crust. I buy these at the dollar store under $2. Got this thing new I found at the dollar store. It was the herb seasoned classic stuffing mix. You just need to basically just some water, onion, celery, you know, like you'd make normal stuffing. I haven't tried this. Actually, not this one. They had another one, and me and my daughter reached through it on top of our salads, like croutons, and it was good on the salad. There's my icing sugar, because I said my container was empty, so I'll be doing that. I got some puddings, some ginger root and garlic. I'm going to keep these out because they need to get cooked this week. Some of these Polly Pocket quick milk straws. So this is the bubblegum flavor. I don't know whose these are. It's that same pack of rice I've been picking up all day. Last year I had made a whole bunch of these soup mixes, and this is what was left. So I've got them. So I'll be making these one time. I don't know when I'll get to it. I've got this big thing of these red dates. This bag, believe it or not, was at the grocery store for 10 cents a bag. I only bought one bag because I haven't tried them, and then I just kind of forgot about them. So they have to get eaten. So they were 10 cents a bag because they were close to expiry, and so they have to get eaten, so I'll be baking with them. This bag here has my different starches in it, so you can see I've got tapioca starch, and then I have, right here it tells me what it is. So I have a rice flour 1, glutinous rice flour 1, and my tapioca starch. I've got 2. I use these for some of my Asian baking. And I'm just going to dump these flour baskets out. And just get these more organized. Yeah. Like I said, I was buying the nuts and stuff at the bulk barn, and then I found the dollar store starting to sell them. Now they are like $2 for this few macadamia nuts, but macadamia nuts are expensive. See, $1.25 for the chestnuts. So I'm just going to go and grab my tripod now that my phone is, going to actually let me record, and I can get through this so much faster. Okay, so I have these 2 black hanging baskets. I've dumped them out. I've got everything sitting here. So I've got different nuts and nuts here. These are all the different nuts I buy from the dollar store. That's flax seeds. So these are the nuts. I'm just trying to organize the nuts versus the seeds. So that's the seeds. Those are nuts. That's my coconut sugar. So there are a couple of things of coconut sugar. These are the chia seeds, and that's the flax seeds. And then of course I've got these that are also the chia and flax seeds. And so I want to put these in a nice container, just because I've got some in the bag and then some in these. So, although these are a resealable bag, I don't think I can fit both these bags into the top of this one bag, but I will see. I'm just going to set those aside. I've got some maple flakes, which I couldn't find these when I was making my banana muffins a couple weeks ago. That would have been good to have on top. I do have some dried mangoes. I buy my fruit and nuts from the dollar store, so Dollarama, $2 for this. I'm 6 chocolate bars from Walmart. They're about $1 a chocolate bar, so I've got 1 almond and raisin, 1 almond, 2 2 crispy rice, and somebody's at my door. Just give me a second. Okay, sorry, just a hockey team bottle drive thing. So cold out there. Okay, so crispy rice, hazelnut, almond and raisin. I've got different types of the croutons, which I make stuffing out of, or I just sprinkle on salad. I've got a few bags of open items, so I'm going to have to dump these. Like, that's my icing sugar and coconut, so I'll be topping those things up. I've got some walnut pieces and chocolate chips. And I have to say, if you're going to make a recipe in my house and you're going to leave that many chocolate chips, you might as well just take them and eat them, because that's only a handful. That takes up so much space in my pantry. So now I've got this. This is that Muscovado brown sugar stuff. I bought this to make a special, was it those boba pearls? So me and my daughter, we haven't had a chance to make them, but I did buy the special sugar for it. I did buy tapioca pearls so I could make my husband tapioca pudding, and then I misplaced the pearls. So now I found it. I'm going to make him tapioca pudding tomorrow. That's another bag of icing sugar, but every time I move this bag, it must have a hole in it somewhere. I'm not sure, unless it's just covered in, but every time I pick it up, yes, it has a hole in the back. Okay, So I will be putting that in a Ziploc bag, or else I'm going to end up with icing sugar everywhere. I've got this whole bag here of all my spices. So I will be got hair in my mouth. So I will be going through my spices tomorrow. So I will be just leaving my spices out for tonight. Another bag of this Herbst seasoned classic stuffing mix. This one I got from the dollar store. I wanted to try it. I forgot about it at Christmas. Otherwise I would have used this. But I'm gonna try this the next time we make meat for supper. I've got a couple of these pie crusts. I get these are the graham pie crust. I buy these at the dollar store, about $2 a pie. I have my sweet flour, which I use this when I make my cornbread. I found another pack of these organic granola bites. And these ones are the dark chocolate and red berry. So I can't eat them because it's strawberry. But I've got a whole bunch of these International Delights. I don't know, my phone had cut out, so I'm not sure if I already showed these ones. But yeah, these International Delights. So I've got about 5 boxes of these to put away. And I think I went over that these would, I showed these ones. I'm not quite sure because somewhere between there and here, my phone stopped recording again. So I'm just trying to make sure I've shown everything. So these and these, I'll be making these for supper in the next couple of days, just so they get used and eaten. And again, it's the same 2 packs of this. I'm just going to stick them in here and ignore them. I have my diatomaceous earth, which I will do a special video on this. Just some pudding cups. I have this bag. It's got tapioca starch and rice flours in it for when I make some of my Asian cooking. The red dates. So I'll actually be taking these out of, well, I'll keep them in this package for now, but I think I'll end up taking them out of this package, slicing them, and I'll be making the date bars with these ones really soon. And these were the leftover soup mixes from last Christmas when I had made everybody soup mixes. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that weren't given out, so I get to keep, and I haven't had a chance to make them yet this year. And I think that is everything. So I'm just gonna get these things put back into these 2 baskets, hang them up, and I am done my pantry. So I'll be back when I get this all finished. Okay, I'll show you my cleaned up pantry, but first I'm gonna show this. This is my kitty. He goes crazy for my teas and my spices. I don't know what spice is in here. Something's in here, and it attracts him to my spices, and it makes him more crazy than catnip. So I just have the bag of spices out. I was gonna leave them out so I could do the spice jars tomorrow, but I think I have to put them away or he's gonna eat all my spices. So I'm just gonna move the angle of my camera so you can see what my pantry looks like now that it is finally done. Oops. Yeah, I just had to wait till he jumped across. Okay, before I open the door. So here is my pantry. Everything is neat and organized. I know I just threw my spices down here for tonight. I do keep them up higher. I just want to get them out of his way because otherwise he will just eat and rip into all my spices. But there we go. Everything is neat and organized and put back in. I've got a few things up here at the top where I have them like double stacked, only because there's a lot of room up there. I know these International Delights are kind of in the way for my daughter to be able to get the cereal. So I will be moving that stuff around. I just wanted to get them finished tonight. I might even just put the cereal in front of the International Delight, just have them stacked up behind there. Same with the box of crackers. It's in a really bad spot. I'm afraid it's gonna, if somebody moves something, it's gonna fall. So I've got a few things up there on the top shelf to kind of move around, but for the most part, my pantry is done. My counter is, see, it's cleared off. That's an empty thing of hot chocolate. And I've got a sink full of dishes to do. I guess when I finish, it's gonna be like 2 sinkfuls of dishes with all the jars that I'd emptied out. And then I was able to, because I had that extra basket that wasn't being used, moved the few baskets around on this shelf. And so by doing that, I've got these 4 little glass jars sitting here. And then this is just behind here is all just the croutons and a few other little things. But that just kind of got them out of my way, and that way that last basket is actually in the pantry being used, and it's not going to be in my way anywhere else. So I think that is finished. I think I've got my pantry, everything put away. I've got a few things on the counter over here that just need to get put somewhere else. They're not pantry items, but I guess I'm done my pantry for today. So again, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody who's subscribing to my channels and watching my videos, and I'll see you in the next ones. Bye.